Hello, this is my 2013 Porsche Cayenne diesel, and a little while ago I got a P205C code, something to do with the temperature sensor in the reducing tank, which is the tank that holds the AdBlue fluid. There's probably several approaches that can be used to correct this problem. I chose to replace the temperature sensor, which is part of the heater assembly that actually plugs into the AdBlue tank. So, like I said, there's probably other things that will work. This is the approach I chose, and I don't know yet if it will work. But first thing is to get access to the underneath of the vehicle. If you don't have a drive-on lift, these ramps work pretty good. Just make sure that you also block the front wheels too. Remember, safety first. The first thing to do in this step is to siphon out the AdBlue that's inside the tank itself. I went to the store and I got a brand new 5-gallon jug and some vinyl tubing and siphoned out most of it. The tank can be accessed through the hatch by removing the spare tire. The next thing is the muffler. This is a muffler assembly shown here. It's held on by two hangers and this circular clamp that holds it onto the head pipe. You don't have to take the clamp all the way off. Just loosen the two 13mm nuts, wiggle it around a little bit, and slide it back away from where the two pipes part. There's a right and left hanger bracket, not very far from the exhaust tips. And here's one of them. They're held in with these 13mm bolts. Here's one here. They just bolt onto the body. There's two on the driver's side, and there's two on the passenger side. This whole assembly doesn't weigh a whole lot, but having a second pair of hands may help. The next thing, after you take out the muffler, is this heat shield. And the heat shield is held on by these 10mm pressed nuts that go on the bottom. It doesn't really take very much torque, so you've got to be careful putting them back on that you don't strip them. Once you've taken that out, now you can release the electrical connectors that are going to be needed to take out the AdBlue tank. And I'll try to show you what I found out there. Now, I already took the tank out, but I kind of propped it up underneath the car so I could show you how these electrical connectors come apart. If you look, well, I wish my camera would focus a little better. But anyway, what I did is I stuck a nail inside the connector, and there's a little stainless steel tab in there that will disengage the clip that holds it together. If I had two hands, I could pull it apart, but if you look in there, you can just, doesn't really show on my camera too good, but if you look at it closely with a good light, you can see it. Then you stick the nail in at an angle so it kind of gets underneath the stainless steel clip. It's okay to let it slip off to one side. And just comes apart like that. There you can see that little clip that the stainless steel tab engages into right there. And here's kind of a closer look what that looks like in there. Anyway, after you've taken the connectors out, this connector has a little tab on it too, like this. And let's see, the other end of it is it's kind of hiding down here. But this connector carries the fluid out of the tank. You can release it by squeezing these two ears together right here. See, if you look inside of it, you can see them pull back. So you just squeeze those two together and then it slowly pulls off. After you've taken those apart, now you can drop the tank. The tank is held on by bolts that go around the perimeter. This is the back side of the tank, so I'm not really showing you the side where the bolt is, but I think you'll get the idea if you look at it. You take out the bolts, and then hopefully by this time you would have drained the fluid out of it, and then you can get the tank out to work on it. Next thing to do is to remove the wiring from this device here. I think it's probably a pump or a metering device of some kind. But these are the wires that go down into the tank. And they attach here, right here, and right there. This little tab, you kind of pull back on this white thing, like that, and then you squeeze down on it like this, and it unplugs. For this one over here, you just kind of squeeze it on the back, like I'm doing like this, and you can pull it out too. This plug right here is kind of held to the bottom of the tank, and what I did is I slid a little Allen's key alongside of it to disengage the hook, and then you can pull it back off of its little mounting bracket onto the tank, and then you can take that off. You can twist this a little bit and it comes off. You take the connections off here and here. There again, it has those little white tabs that you pull back and then press down and then pull the tab off. Here, I'll show you again. Just sort of pull back on it like that, press on it, and then I didn't have it in frame, sorry about that. You pull back on the little tab, squeeze on it, and then pull. It comes right off, and the other ones are similar to that one. This one comes off by squeezing it here, and it pulls off. Next, I don't know what size Allen wrench this is, but you unscrew the 3 screws here, here, and here, and this comes off. The surface that comes off of is going to look like this old one here. When it comes time to reassemble, make sure this has a little O-ring in it and that it doesn't stick to the nipple that's on the back of that metering device. There's also another O-ring there, but that's bigger, but it stays put. Next, you can remove this ring that retains this whole thing on. It turns about a turn and a quarter, and it comes right off. To get this off, see, here's the old one here. It's going to be stuck a little bit. You can take a tool like a screwdriver and kind of stick under here and lift up, and it'll come out fairly easy. And then underneath that is this gasket. Okay. And on mine, when I took this gasket off, I found some of the lips on these seals kind of going the wrong way. So when I put the new one in, I put a little bit of this silicone grease on it, and I wiggled them around. I wiggled it around, twisted it side by side. You have to make sure it's seated properly. And this actually plugs into the flange in the very bottom of the tank. It has these little tabs on it that stick out, and you have to turn this whole assembly about, maybe 3/8 of an inch or so to get it to release from the tank. And it's kind of slippery in there. I use rubber gloves, and you do what you have to do to get purchase on it, and you can feel it click when it disengages, and you can withdraw the whole assembly. When you put it back together, you can put this lock ring on, or this threaded ring. Notice that it has a little indicating arrow on it right here, kind of like a little delta shaped or triangular shaped pointer. You orient it towards the side of the tank that's on the passenger side, or you can look at the underside of it and you can see where the threads start. It's important to know where to start this because it's plastic, the threads are soft, and they can get fouled up if you're not careful. Anyway, I put this on and I turned it about an inch or turned it about 1 1/4 turn to get it to stay on. But before I tighten it completely, I go ahead and put all the connectors back together, because you may have a little bit of interference, like up in here for instance, so you may have to twist this whole assembly one way or the other to get your connectors to all go back together the way they're supposed to, and then put everything back in it connector wise. Anything that has an O-ring on it, I put a little bit of that silicone grease on. And after you get everything lined up, then you take the this locking ring and you torque it down the rest of the way by hand. And that's about it. Then you muscle it up back underneath. You reinstall the bolts around the perimeter, here, here, and here. Reconnect here and here. Refill your DPF tank, and then you should be in business. Anyway, I sure hope this video helps you. I didn't really find a whole lot out there, so I did this one to help you all out. Oh, before I go, this is the little Allen wrench that I used to disengage the this connector right here from off of the tank. Let's see if I can show this to you better. See, here's the plug here. It's easier if I have two hands. But I'll try to hold it so you all can see. But on the other side, I just kind of slide this down in there, and what it will do, it'll cause that little hook to release. Whoops, sorry about that. See, there it is there. And then it allows you to pull it back and disengage. Anyway, happy motoring, you all. Take care.